I'm gonna say something I thought I would never say, and that's Honkai Star Rail could never, and that's because Zenless Zone Zero 2.0 has really shown me what Hoyoverse is capable of, and has really blown my expectations out of the water from everything from the unique events that they have, the new characters and playstyles that they have. Honestly, Zenless Zone Zero feels like a complete new game with version 2.0, as version 1.4 made it feel when it came out, when Miyabi came out. I feel the same way about version 2.0, guys, because they have done so much with this game that it is unreal, and it is sad to see the state of something like Genshin Impact or even Honkai Star Rail. They cannot keep up with what Zenless Zone Zero is currently doing. So in today's video, guys, we're going everything new in version 2.0, everything. We're getting all the free stuff because free S-rank character and free S-rank W engine? The fuck? But I will say one thing, you can never give a company complete glaze, because if you do, things turn out like Honkai Star Rail. So I will have my criticisms at the end of the video. There may be smaller criticisms, but there are criticisms nonetheless, and a criticism of a pretty major function that they're adding to this game that I don't think players actually want, even though they say they do. Anyways, let me go ahead and quickly break down to you guys what we're going to be getting in version 2.0. So first things first, guys, we get a shrine building event, and basically what this event is you're building up a shrine, making sure it's more profitable. You're putting bamboos in place to sell stuff and do things with the shrine. You get rewards for this, so free polychromes all around the board. And honestly, I find this to be a very fun event now. I think some people might think this is a very bland event because there's not really any gameplay involved. It's more of a Tycoon-esque game mode. Me personally, I enjoy Tycoon-esque game modes, but you might not enjoy that, and I can definitely understand that. But let me tell you guys, this update is packed full of so many different types and unique events that it's kind of unreal. Not to say they're not reused ones, because we definitely got reused ones, just like this one right here, which is the holographic onslaught. This is basically just adding a buff. You do some combat and you kill enemies. That's basically the same thing we got with the Yanagi patch, just kind of reskinned and repatched for this version. But there are other events as well, like a dating simulator, like an actual dating simulator, because that has went so well in every other Hoyoverse game before, surely, right? This will be definitely a great event. And then there's a little sightseeing event where you go around and see the sites and get rewards for it. But with all of this, guys, there's actually one event that they're adding that I think is super unique, and honestly, it seems super fucking fun, and that is the Bang Boo Mech Fight event. This event looks absolutely peak. Putting your Bang Boo inside of a mech and fighting it. Hey, yo, I'm here for it all days. This is actually content, guys, and the reason I say that is because most of the time, I think most people consider pulling characters and playing with the new characters content. This is giving you a free character that you can't even pull to use in an event, and you get to upgrade them and fight even more with them, get new skins for them. You have personalization. Like, this is what unique events should be like. We got the Bang Bros event before this, and we've just gotten so many unique events from Zenless Zone Zero that honestly, I really wish that both Genshin Impact and Honkai Star Rail will take a step in this direction, because for the most part, it's recycle, re-rinse, reuse. But those are just the events, guys. They're adding new story to the game, obviously, but they're also changing how you play the story. So instead of you just doing the story and going into the shop and then talking here and then going outside the shop, talking outside the shop, they're adding in a full open map environment, very similar to how Honkai Star Rail is structured, where you go outside, you can fight enemies, and you do your quest out there. It's the same way for this as well. Now, I do think this can be in a pro and a con. We'll get more into that at the end of the video, but overall, I do see this as an overall positive. I see it as an overall positive for the initial just doing quests, right? Because I think the ability to integrate combat in, which is what the game is supposed to be known for, fighting game, by the way, and integrating that in with the actual story, it makes everything feel more fluid. It makes it seem like you're walking while you're talking versus just sitting there and talking. Now, Zenless Zone Zero does have a skip button unlike Honkai Star Rail does, so that also alleviates that pressure too, but I do think this adds a little bit more to the game, though I do think on the negative end, it does add some negative playtime to the game when you have to walk back and forth between different locations, and the further those locations are apart, the more tedious it can become, but we'll talk, like I said, more about that at the end of the video. But now, let's talk about the characters we're getting, guys, because we're getting 3 new characters and 2 rerun banners, and my god, the reruns are absolutely spectacular. Let's talk about the new characters we're getting first. Miss Yi, which, holy shit, this is the upgrade to Miyabi 100%. She does sheer damage as well. She scales off of other teammates' impact. Like, she just does so many things, guys, and she is just gonna be an absolute beast for dealing damage, getting free ults off, and honestly, she is what the new future meta is going to look like in Zenless Zone Zero, at least probably until we get close to version 3.0. So probably around 2.6, 2.7 is when I would expect to see a new meta be introduced, but she is going to be what that meta unit looks like, and she will be the new peak, and other DPS units are going to have to follow behind her so they're not so weak as like the other characters we've gotten. Am I happy with this power creep? No. Do I think it has to happen? Yes, because you're fucked up in the release of me to be so damn strong. So there you go for that. Hopefully buffs really enhance that. But speaking on buffs really quick, guys, we're getting something free, a free buff to Ellen Jo. So if you had Ellen Jo in your account, she is getting a buff. They're changing how her core passive works. They're changing just how the kit in general works. So hey, if you owned Ellen Jo in your account, she is getting a buff, and hopefully she's good, and I cannot wait to do testing myself to see how good she really is. But on top of this, guys, we are getting other characters added to the game, like Miss Jufu, which is our new stun type character, which is realistically a jack of all trades because she does stun, she helps do like off-field damage, and she is giving buffs to the team as well. So she kind of fits all those different niches there, and I genuinely think that she's going to be the best stun character in the game, hands down. I don't think there's any other ifs, ands, or buts about that. And then finally, guys, the new A-rank character we're getting, which is going to be alongside Miss Yi on her banner, the Panda Man. Yeah, dude, he looks awesome. I'm not gonna lie, this panda looks sick. Did you see when he took off his hat? He was cooking in that bitch, okay? He was stirring up the pot. He was doing shit real hot, and he also will be helping with healing the team, giving buffs to the team, and everything like that. So, genuinely, guys, I could not be happier with these three characters that we're getting. We'll have more details when I have full in-depth guides on all these characters in the future, so subscribe to the channel if you haven't already if you want to see that. But now I want to talk about the reruns, because we are getting two diabolical reruns, two of the best supports in the game, that being both Caesar King and also Austria. Now, I know some people put Caesar King lower than Austria on the tier list, and I understand that for right now. I do think Caesar King's viability shoots up substantially with version 2.0 and beyond. Now, we haven't seen what that's going to be yet, but I do really think that Caesar King will become much more viable in the future patches, because we really haven't gotten much love for like these defense characters and people pairing up with defense characters, so they have to do it, and I think version 2.0 is when they will actually start utilizing it more, which makes her so much better, especially if they start making characters that play off the amount you're shielded, which wouldn't that be lovely? So absolutely amazing pick there, but also Austria as well, guys. The best support in the game, the de facto best support in the game, gives free transacts, gives free off-field damage, gives free buffs for every single of your character, has the highest attack buff in the game. You cannot go wrong with getting Austria. Now, with that being said, guys, there are so many different characters with this patch, especially with the S ranks that you can pick, that you might be at a loss for who you should actually pick. So, like I mentioned before, subscribe to the channel already if you haven't, because we will be going over all of these characters in a future video, and going over how each of these characters could be better or worse for your particular account, going over pros and cons, everything like that. So, like I said, another plug here, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And then we got some major changes to Hollow Zero, Shiyu Defense, Deadly Assault, and things like that, with Hollow Zero having the most changes, because Hollow Zero added the function, and now every single character in your team can get their additional abilities, or get their enhanced abilities, I guess you could say, right? Before, you could only choose one character in your team, they would get the enhanced, upgraded abilities, right? But now, everyone on your team can. This also introduces in a new mechanic for everyone on your team to have aftershock damage. And what I really think you should keep an eye on here with Hollow Zero is how they're going to implement this in the future. I think we've already seen implementations of how Ellen Jo's thing has been used here and upgraded her with her upgraded kit now. I think a lot of what we see here could be transitioned into when they buff characters in the future, especially if the reception is received well for an Ellen Jo buff. Then for Shiyu Defense and Deadly Assault, they're just adding new enemies here. The Bug Boss, the Beetle Man here, he looks really cool. And also the Flicker Goon Master over here that attacks you so much that makes your pants want to fall off. You're getting both these characters added to our in-game game mode. And then, like I mentioned at the beginning of the video, a lot of free stuff, guys. First, 30 free pulls, yeah, baby! Not only this, guys, we're getting a free skin for our main characters, yippee! And then finally, guys, we are getting, oh my god, a free S-rank character and a free S-rank W engine from the standard banner. So for those people that maybe didn't have Lycon on their account, maybe those people that didn't have a good stun character on their account, this might be the time for you to pick up Lycon, and maybe one of the W engines will also have videos on this for what the best character is to pick and what the best W engine is to pick, because I do think these could be different options depending on how your account is built. But so many different free things we're getting this patch is absolutely insane. And now to rapid fire over some of the quality of life things we got, guys. First of all, we're getting a mini map, which actually does look kind of cluttered, but is better when you open up the actual map view. Though they are allowing you to pick a preferred map type, whether that be the little node-based system where you would flip through them, or the map system like we just mentioned before there. They're also allowing you to reconfigure buttons and keybinds, so if you don't like the keybinds they have set, because they will be changing due to the new exploration, you'll be able to change those keybinds. They're also changing how missions are sorted in the intranet menu. They're making it easier to swap from keyboard and mouse to controller, and then vice versa. You'll also be allowed to start with more energy when you start your farming stages, meaning you can use your EX specials off-rip to more quickly kill kill enemies and get through those dailies. And they're adding file compression for PC players. Mobile players, sorry, your file size will never come down, but us PC players can revel in the joy of not having as big file sizes on our PC. Like I said, rip mobile players. That's everything that we're getting in version 2.0, or 95% of it. But now I do want to talk about some of the cons I see with this update. Number one, guys, something that maybe you guys didn't notice, an increase to decibel meter. Now, they cannot really increase the decibel meter for your other allies because they've already been implemented with a low decibel meter. If you looked at Jufufu, they both had a 4,000 decibel meter. That's 1,000 higher than normal. That means it's going to be much harder to proc off their ultimate moves. And I'm assuming they're counting into this because of the fact that now you can use all 3 ultimates from all of your allies. So by increasing that, it makes the game a little bit harder to get these ults off because maybe you were spamming ult before. I don't know, but they did increase that as something to mention. Also, with the open world exploration, as I kind of mentioned before, I think it can make the game kind of clunky, especially after you've completed the story, or if you have monotonous quests. I hope to God they don't add monotonous quests of going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth like Honkai Star Rail has. It can add so much time that you're actually having to play the game, regardless if there's a skip button or not. The amount of time it will take to walk from here to here, or even open your map, teleport to here, and then do that, I do think that can take much more time, which could lead to you being in the game for longer and doing stuff that you don't want to do, which is just go back and forth for a fucking fetch quest or something. Also, in terms of the event, well, yes, I absolutely love what they did for the next fight event. All the other events are kind of mid. Don't get me wrong, I think the dating event will appeal to some people. I think the tycoon event will appeal to me and some people as well, but overall, I didn't see much innovation other than this event right here. Maybe I'm just hyped because it's a fucking bang boo and a mech, but I really don't see the innovation that I saw from previous patches in this patch right here. I really would like them to keep the innovation up with events and make new, fun, enjoyable events for the far future. Now, I do like the amount of events they've added because this will give us more stuff to do in-game. I hear a lot of people complaining about, oh, there's not enough stuff to do in Zenless Zone Zero. Well, this right here will give you a lot more stuff to do. We already have 2 in-game game modes and an endless floor mode, which they'll be adding more onto. So all of those things are really good, plus the addition of Hollow Zero updates. I think that Zenless Zone Zero is shaping up to have a lot of stuff to do in the game, and I really hope they continue this trend. But like I said, guys, I would love to see more innovation to the events because I think things can get bland and stale and end up exactly like how version 3.0 of Honkai Star Rail ended up, because all we did for that game was glaze, 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 and then we started to not like it. They're like, oh wait, fuck them guys, we got it. We got a big head now, so let's send it straight on ahead with what we want to do. Fuck them, guys. So if we give this game too much praise, it's silly as it sounds, you cannot give this game too much praise. Give it its flowers when it deserves its flowers, but that doesn't mean you should talk about the things that are wrong with the update or things that you don't like about the update. You need to be critical of this game at all times. I don't think there's any reason why you should not be critical of the game. I don't think any update is a 10 out of 10. No shot in my mind. This is pretty close to it, but I don't think any update's a 10 out of 10, and I think you should criticize that one thing that's wrong to keep them on their toes and keep them progressing into the future. I know a lot of people will cope out in the comment section and tell me, wow, you do, Zenless Zone Zero is great, wow, Honkai Star Rail's not that bad. Fuck you, yes it is. Every game's had problems, more so with Honkai Star Rail and Genshin Impact at this point, but hey, that's gonna do it for today's video, guys. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I know I've said it 1,500 times, but really, subscribe to the channel. That's gonna do it for today's video for me, and I'll see you in the next one, guys. Later, bye-bye.